Hi, and welcome to the Dillon Farmers Market. This is Matt Miano, Events Manager for the town of Dillon. We're actually not here to talk about the Farmers Market. Maybe we'll get to that a little later, but we're here to talk about Town Council. I'm standing here with Mayor Kevin Burns. Mr. Burns, how are you today?
Doing great. Happy to be out. Another great day in Dillon to shop and do all that fun stuff.
I love Fridays.
Yeah, they're fun. So we're here to talk about our last work session and regular meeting. This last week we started our work session a little bit early. Actually, we started about half an hour earlier because we wanted to do a joint work session with our town council, our economic development advisory committee, and our planning and zoning commission. So we brought members of all three of those groups, our council and then our other two committees there together to be along with Carrie McCool, who's been doing economic development work with us. And we ran through basically a 2-hour work session where we discussed all these different committees we've been starting.
I was going to say, recap that 2-hour session in 2 minutes. Okay, go.
Yeah. We went and reviewed all of our committees. As I think most of our loyal viewers know, we've started a few new economic development committees, repurposing our economic development advisory committee, creating a design committee, creating a promotions committee, and then using council as a governance committee that oversees those other three. So having some of the members of those other committees there was a really great opportunity to make sure that all of the parts were working together the right way. As an example, our economic development advisory committee is going out and doing a lot of data collection right now. That's going to help. That's going to help our design committee in terms of deciding what sort of low-hanging fruit programs that they want to start doing. What kind of things do we want to see in the town? What is the data support that we'd like to see here? That in turn helps feed into developing our longer-term promotions programs, like how do we attract and retain businesses. So being able to see all those parts work together was really great, and we really spent that time understanding how all the different components are going to be able to allow the town to move forward.
Sure, and if I can interject, I actually met with the promotions committee earlier in the day, and one of the big things that we kind of focused on, which I think is an ultimate goal, is simply, what is our goal, and what we decided was how do we get folks into town, and based on what you're saying, it all kind of works together.
Yeah, so we have this great farmers market, as you can see around us. What lessons can we learn from that to do other things in the town? How do we get people to stay here permanently? How do we develop, is there place to develop storefronts on Lake Dillon Drive? All the different committees have different roles to play and seeing that kind of vision move forward. So it was a really cool opportunity. By the end of that work session, the council, the different members of the different committees were all chatting about different ideas that we had, how we would kind of move all this stuff forward, from stuff that's easy to implement to stuff that's maybe further down the road. But it was a pretty exciting experience, and it's neat to see the ball rolling on this.
Oh, absolutely, and I'm excited to see how the ball does roll. Like you said, some of it is short term, some of it is long term. I know one of the things that we talked about that looking like it's probably going to be for next year, but the idea of a hot spot in town, different stuff like that.
Yeah, one of the first ideas that's come up with is how can we create a little more activity on Lake Dillon Drive? It's one of the main thoroughfares in our town. It's something we've talked about a while. When people are coming down to the marina, they're stopping at the post office, they're heading into our restaurants. Everyone uses that street. So how do we make that a location in and of itself? So the idea that we came up with from our design committee was develop this hotspot. You could have activities for folks. The reason we came up with hotspot is you could maybe have some wireless connectivity there, maybe a coffee cart or something. I mean, the idea is to have it be pretty flexible and just sort of work over time to create these little hubs of activity that people find really interesting.
Kind of the sky's the limit as far as what it could evolve into. See what works, see what doesn't work.
Yeah, funny story. Just this morning, I have a friend who's coming up from Denver, and she was looking for a place to camp out in Dillon and set up her laptop for the day and do some work, and maybe be able to hang out and lounge outside. And saying, well, we're not quite there, but maybe by the end of the summer, next summer, we'll have that spot for you. So
that's exciting. So let's see what else we were talking about. I know that Bob Evans from the Marina gave his Marina report, which was outstanding.
Yeah, for anyone who's watching, you can go check the Summit Daily. There was a great write-up about that update just in a recent paper, and we're breaking records in terms of the number of folks that we have down at the Marina. Bob Evans and his staff have done a tremendous job doing promotions. They've been creating kind of a more family-friendly atmosphere. They've been everything from kind of redoing their gift shop to reconfiguring some of just the way you enter and the way you use the marina.
Right.
And then of course there's been a tremendous promotions campaign to get people up and using the marina for all different sorts of activities. And certainly Bob and his crew are the huge part of that. And it's exciting during the summers, kind of as the marina goes, so goes the rest of the town.
Sure.
So we're seeing those record numbers of folks coming.
Right. And speaking of activities, of course, you can rent your pontoon boats, sailboats. They've got, I think they're called little runabouts, little motor boats, but they have literally been selling out. So if you guys want to rent a boat, DillonMarina.com, get there and rent your boat early. And then new this year, of course, we've got the stand-up paddle boarding, which is, just taken off as well.
That's been a huge part of that success, just a whole other way to get folks down into a marina. And
I haven't done it. Have you tried stand-up paddle boarding yet?
I have not yet. We've got multiple council members pressuring me to get out there on the lake.
I'll go do it with you. Let me know. I'll go do it.
Make sure. Hopefully for the next update we'll have a
what if we try to do the update on the stand-up paddle board? We'll get our camera guy to balance on there, and then at the end we can maybe try to knock him off into the water. It would be fun.
I approve of that.
Okay,
I love it.
We'll discuss that.
I'll say one last piece on work session. We did have another discussion of our marijuana regulations.
Always.
Just finalizing some of the retail regulations that we're working on. We're really trying to be thoughtful and considerate to make sure that we have our bases covered, but are still sort of allowing the ability of entrepreneurs to be able to come into the town and set up shop in a safe way that meshes with our Dillon environment. And I think we're pretty much there. I know there's for folks watching, they're going to start getting updates on whole other sets of regulations involving possession and everything that various other towns have been starting to work on, and that's our next step. But I think we're actually pretty close to be